You know, Lux is all skill shots, even though the E is really easy to hit. But I think there's nothing easier to hit than a Karma Mantra Q.
Yeah, and you can also do the Mantra Inspire and just turn Pyosik into a rocket, winning the lane.
Yep. Really a lot of value there, and I think important. You know, we talked about the bot lane already being behind. I think Closer being able to add some reprieve makes a big difference. They will secure that dragon as well, which is crazy. You know, you can obviously understand why, because that mid priority, but crazy how badly the bot lane has gone, and yet they managed to pick up first dragon.
Yep. Laning phase, she's really good. It's just in the mid game after the laning phase is kind of broken and you're just positioning your AD carry in mid lane, you're not getting that sieging value as
that's the damage I'm talking about.
The damage, yeah.
A slow push now. Handback is trying to find his way in.
Yeah, looking for an angle. DNF still playing aggressively. You've got a rotation down here as Pyosik to move in, but the immediate engage. Crash into the wall is Humbug, does have access to the ulti as there's the Impale, but Pyosik still in trouble. Fate's Call gets a double knockup, and Pyosik with a whole bunch of sticks in him, gonna get them ripped out as Hype grabs himself first blood. Much needed money over to the Kalista.
Absolutely, and you saw the benefit of the bailout there coming through for Polo. Yes, Berserker life, it's so much pressure. You know, he was still level 5. Yep. That was potentially costly, does manage to get away. This could still just be the tower going down. But I think, you know, getting the kill out of that situation, you'll take it. Yep. Caitlyn. This hasn't drastically changed. You know, we're hyping it up, but we're not.
And he got soloed to like turret gold as well, getting first brick. Like, yeah, it's still huge.
It was a needed injection of gold for hype, but it doesn't drastically change what happened in the laning phase and the fact that there's already a tower gone. But we do see Bro picking up...
Should be 6 scrubs.
Yeah, should be. So, Handback hasn't been able to impact bot lane. Obviously, unfortunately for Hype and Polo, but he's been doing a good job of picking up these objectives. You would assume that DNF would be able to pick up the dragon in return.
First item done as well, but I don't know whether it's going to be quite enough.
Yeah, I think the item timings are actually good for Bro to fight. They're just not there in time, and with the trap line set up, no way to get in. DNF will pick up the dragon. Positive for them. And it is a Hextech Soul, so a pretty high value one, but it's still just crazy to me that Bros had such a monopoly on these early objectives despite what happened in the bot 2v2.
All ultimates available now.
I should think DNF would want to fight this, at least get a look in.
Well, right now we've got some Qs flying around from Life, but not really finding too much joy. Teleport in from the Rumble. Let's see whether this equalizer is going to work out or whether he's even going to use it. The rest of Bro just backing away. They've got a blast cone here if they want to utilize it as Hype gets splashed on here by Pyosik. Not a lot of follow-up, but there is the equalizer that we were looking for. The flash out, the bailout is there, and Pyosik is going to get taken down. Polo actually getting the kill somehow. And Morgan, ace in the hole, flies through, but that's not going to be nearly enough to take him down.
Lose Pyosik in return.
Yeah, and Hype with no summoner spells, not actually able to walk over and try and defend that, so...
With a Caitlyn, you want to get set up and have those traps, but Grove just pushed in brute force to find positioning on the dragon.
Teleport advantage at full force here as Polo possibly out of position. Ace in the hole, and he's almost dead, flashing pretty late as the smite fight goes over to Humbug. Nicely played by the young players.
Pushed the pace of this game. Now they are getting a setup here. 4 traps covering this choke, but that's the kind of the limit for Caitlyn at this level, so if Bro can find an angle to loop round, they can definitely contest this one.
Yeah, Closer looking for an angle here as Bulldog takes half of his health bar. It is going to be the Rift Herald secured by Pyosik. Humbug a little bit late as he moves in. Still wanting a bit of a fight here as we can see. Polo, Fate's Call, pulls him in. The flash out from Life, but he immediately gets public executed. Morgan looking for an angle here. He's got the bailout and he uses it. Still is going to go down as Emperor's Divide gets a little bit of safety here, but it's a good handshake as Hype not able to get over the Sand Soldiers. Still 2-for-1 trade, and you'll take that if you're Bro, and they also get themselves the feats of strength. Flash out from this Ambessa, and Dudu has teleport available.
And Morgan doesn't.
Yeah. This is a huge deal. Humbug looking for an opportunity here to try and take them down. He does still have his ulti and decides to go in onto Bulldog, utilizing it here. But Dudu with that teleport is going to turn up. And now they have the extra life. They are going to be able to get the recall, but that is going to be a kill from Pyosik. And finally, DNF come alive. Hype just trying to send as many of them back home as he can. But he is going to be taken out himself. And that's a kill going over to Berserker. For the first time in this game, DNF win a fight, and it's a big one.
This one up, because chunking out Morgan, kind of keep him invested and then TPing over, ensure they had the numbers advantage. And I think honestly for Bro, should have just let it go.
Yeah.
Are looking to contest this. This is risky, though. I mean, they have TP from Morgan, and Bulldog's top without TP, so maybe a mismanagement from the DN Freaks.
Yeah, that's a teleport in. That is going to be soul point secured there by Humbug, and it's because Bulldog's not there. DNF do back away, which I think was smart, but the fact that they had to is the problem.
It is ludicrous that with this gold lead, oh
dear. Okay, Pioshik going to get a crash into Morgan. Another public execution going to stop him from pulling him back, though, and Morgan actually finding the angle onto Dudu. Pioshik's very tanky, but Closer does so much DPS. They take down the Kalista, though. Another recall is forced. Bro are limping away, but they're going to do so successfully as Berserker's health bar is blinking. But remember, they're only 200 gold as they're walking towards the Bros. Closer's still looking for that angle, and they do manage to pick up that 200 gold from Life. And Bulldog still farming in that top lane. Now, Bro, all they need to think about is playing around Dragon over and over again as Closer does get a lot of damage onto Life, but now Bro find themselves in an awkward position. Polo not going to get bailed out of that one, and that's DN Freaks managing to get a pick.
3 items from this Kalista, giving Berserker such confidence, but also just, you know, no Kalista ult available to save Polo from that one. Closer doesn't connect his abilities onto Berserker.
Aaron.
They're doing so much damage here. They're going to have to try and take this fight 4v5. Without the Renata, it's so hard.
Well, in goes Humbug. He finds the ulti as well. Life in a bit of trouble, but there's the equalizer down. A flash out from Humbug gets him to relative safety. They've stopped the Baron, but at what cost? The 2-man impale! And both Morgan and Hype are on the floor. Bro now having to escape from this one, and DNF will go straight back to the Purple Worm.
Not going to let their previous mistakes rattle them. DN Freaks take control, and playing around these 3 items on Berserker, they've got such confidence. They set up for the Baron, and they will be able to secure this. This gold lead was already large. Really going to balloon at this point.
Oh yeah. The 6 grubs actually mean, and for Bro, they haven't been able to utilize it at all.
Yep. And now looking for a bit of a flank here from Closer, but they can't just rotate towards the top side. They have a wave coming in anyway. No way the Bro can approach, so there should be a pickup.
Yep, the defensive Dudu as well is certainly going to be helpful. So like you were saying, I don't think that Bro have, you know, too much to worry about here, giving away a second dragon here, the first Hex deck for DNF.
Through Celestial Opposition.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah. Scary to be playing Renata into this. We do see them going to be able to take this tower here. Even without Baron, their pushing power is still so extreme. I do think getting the inhibitor, DN Freaks need to hard force this.
Well, Closer looking for an angle here as he flashes in, gets over to the other side. He has some one-on-one time with Berserker, but he gets a huge shield. And another crash here onto Morgan. They take down Humbug, but the Impale does absolutely nothing. Berserker's just free hitting though, taking whatever he wants and their lunch money. Hype running the wrong direction. And the DN Freaks are looking like they're going to crush the Bros here in game 1.
And, you know, it wasn't a flawless game, but I think the player who was flawless is Berserker. You know, they gave him the Caitlyn, confidence into the Kalista, and he's just dominated from minute 1. Hype, yeah, this is kind of summary of how the game went.
Yeah, that's some mechanics there from Dudu, pressing the Q button and walking near him. And Nexus turret's going to fall. I thought that Bro's composition was nicely put together. I thought some of their fights in the early game were pretty good, but DN Freaks, they controlled the map and they took down the Bros here in game 1.
Ultimately, team comps as a whole, I think Breon is super happy. You know, I think Pioshik had some struggles game 1. He's now playing, in theory, into like Talia Wukong. So much CC on the side of Breon. I think they're really happy with the matchups across the board.
I think he might try and contest this, but full vision is available here for the Bros, and Polo is in position, has a wave freshly crashed, and Life not going to be able to impact too much here as Bulldog does manage to clear out a wave, is looking to rotate over, but it's a little bit late. Shattering Strike gets a beautiful double stun, but the Pulverize is going to stop the crash down from doing anything. Surprise delivery here as Life's going to have to flash away. Hail of Arrows comes down and Humbug's making his way. Piercing Arrow is gorgeous from Hype. As now Closer finds himself in trouble, but it's another gorgeous seismic shove, getting Pioshik out of there, and Bulldog has to use a very defensive ultimate to escape. The Bros with so much control in that fight. Yeah, beautifully played. Closer's Talia has been fantastic in the past. I feel like Closer is like either a genius or he's lost his mind in a lot of the games that we've seen from Bro.
There's a lot of LCK players you could talk that way about.
Yeah, it is a good point. And honestly, if things are going well, then you're generally going to look better, but Closer is certainly never scared to make the play, you know? DNF going to be able to grab at least a couple of these grubs, but because Bro managed to pick up one of them, there's not going to be any feats of strength or portions of such.
Means these trades are just even harder to win with that sustain that comes through.
Ooh, this is feeling dangerous.
Well, level 6 hit.
Yeah, Magnus Storm available. Remember, Hype does need to flash and does do so to get himself out of the way. And there's the special delivery. Polu! Who is this guy?
Beautifully played. Didn't even need to use his flash to set that up. Hype able to use his to bait Life, and Life falls for the trap. Another kill for that Varus. A huge boon for Bro right now.
Moment is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, they're layering with CC great, and now looking for a kill on the top side.
Bro just unrelenting. Closer going to be tanking this one up, but does find the shove and is able to walk it off just right. And that's plates going over to Morgan as well.
Yeah,
as far as
sometimes some questionable decisions is looking for
the disengage cone. But Polu is going to be able to find an angle. There's another pulverize, and Humbug on top of the Rel. Life comes at you fast, but this time he's going to be going down, although managing to flash away. There is a teleport coming in, and finally he falls, but the fight is on for real. Pyosik going to go down sort of sadly, and Bulldog looking for an angle here, but Humbug's over the wall, finds that Warrior Trickster, and Bulldog is on a side of the map that he doesn't really want to be. He's going to get smoked, and another Nimbus Strike should spell the end of him, and there he goes. That's a Bro win if ever I've seen one. I mean, Humbug is off to the races in this game. As we have a look at the gold, it is up and to the right here for the Bros.
Absolutely starting early in this one, and with a big sizable lead, picking up that Dragon as well. Their second is going to be Infernal Soul, which, oh man, with a Varus, with a Talia.
Yeah, harmoniously dying in the last team fight, and that's been the contribution.
Yeah, you know, I talked about how this was going to be a harder game for Neferi, and also Neferi is a pick who does like to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Not really seeing that. Oh, this could be devastating for Dudu.
Yeah, I heard the Korean casters with an ooh. And I certainly second that thought, as if Closer does find a seismic shove angle.
Ignore them. I really doesn't resonate with me, but Morgan, he knew he was there, what he was there to pick up.
I mean,
right?
The Lord understands. He understands where the value comes from, as Polu does manage to headbutt Dudu away, but now he finds himself in an awkward spot. Flash out, and he's going to take the northern exit. Life just crashes towards him, and it's a little bit of a comedy here. The Unbreakable Will up and available, and Polu can just headbutt his way out. What is... Polu is just running him around the map.
Is the game maybe a bit cooked if they just let this go? Kinda. So they're trying to find Closer here.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall, and he just gets himself out. Finds himself in an awkward spot as he jumps off the wall, as Humbug's looking to re-engage. And speaking of engaging Polu, he's going to be not finding too much joy because Pyosik goes untargetable. Still, Seismic Shove's good onto Life. And now the Aatrox turns up to die. Hype just takes him out. Sometimes you teleport, and it doesn't work. And that for Dudu was one of those times.
Look, I don't massively agree with the decision to burn your Ariel to try and find Closer, but I get it, right? You're behind, you want to try and find a pick before the fight because you're not confident in the fight. But once the pick fails, why'd you still fight? That's my question. I think DN Freak should have just taken that as a memo to get out of there.
That's because they made that decision in the last game and they won.
Bad habits.
There as well. 2 items already completed. Berserker still looking for that second spike as Pyosik looking for an opportunity here. Dominus from Morgan. And we've got Rel making her way down. Pyosik still going to be able to continue the chase. But Morgan, I think he might be out, although Dudu does chase after him.
Man.
There's a slice, but there's no dice. Doesn't matter. DNF just have to back away, and they'll lose an inner turret for it.
The Lord doesn't go down. He knows the limits of his champion.
Oh, yeah.
Better than any. Able to survive that one, and the tower structures getting taken down here by Bro in return is devastating.
I think they really wanted to get that one, and now Life once again out of position because Closer does a drive-by of the objective and looks to kill the Rel. He'll have another seismic shove as he's not getting out of this one. That's Hype with another kill. 5-1 and 2 now on this Varus. And they'll just take a Ruinous Archon. They'll grab themselves a bunch of experience, some adaptive force. My God, the Bros are really upset about how game 1 went.
Just such a slick transition, able to move, get these towers after the play fails bot, and then also pick up that kill on the Life, also get the Archon. Feels like Bro are in complete control of this game. Night and day.
Yeah.
Better game 1.
This is just brominance.
Absolutely brominance.
We started this game with bromance, and we end it, or we are in the middle of it, with some bromance, and with some brominance. And is it going to be bromination, or is it going to be brotastrophe? That's the question. Because there are, you know, A game is never over until it's over. It's a 5,000 gold lead, but that is not, I guess, end of the world. Out of there. Life looking for an angle. There's a teleport to come in. Magnet Storm invested, and maybe this time they can kill the Lord as he gets interrupted, knocked up, and taken out. That's going to be Bulldog that collects the kill.
So generous, you know, he knew that DNF was struggling a little bit in this game.
He's a benevolent Lord.
Absolutely. It was a Hex Gates, but he was like, let's make a big hammer, some like gauntlets. He was like, why don't we just stick some Hex Deck on a cow and see what happens?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And then it's Polu's Alistair, and it does this on Summoner's Rift. Charm not going to be followed up, although a bit of damage there. Still, closer is going to be A-OK. Morgan and Polu just keeping the rest of them out of there, and Bulldog is in such an awkward spot. Dudu looking for a flank. Hype! What are we doing there? But he's missed by everything, and Bulldog is still being chased down while the rest of the team is making sure nothing happens. Hype finds yet another angle and just pierces this Ahri. Life's now in trouble. Not going to be hit by the seismic shove, but it doesn't matter. Magnastorm also does absolutely nothing, and Dudu's still trying to find a flank angle, and he's just not going to be able to do so. Pioshik, no way to get in either, and that is going to be Infernal Soul for the bros, and the science will be experienced.
I was a little worried that the DM Freaks might all 5 of them go down and the game just ends without the science. No. Science wins here. Thank you, Jace.
Bros seem to care about zero about that.
I get it. The Baron gives the extra AD. He needs that for full science.
Peak science. That is what we're witnessing. It's down to half health. But the bros, they obviously want to scrap. Polu taking a bit of damage here, and it's looking pretty real. As now Dudu dives in, almost manages to steal it, but no. It is Humbug that locks that one down with his smite. Polu very late ulti, but he's still going to look for Pioshik. He's surviving for so long, and he's able to get out of there. Still, the Rel takes down Humbug. Morgan trying to do something, and they're fishing a barrel. Hype, just finish him off. Just one Q, and he is dead. But Bulldog's going to be able to take down the third.
Coming through, and also
that's domination victory, my friend.
Absolutely. And now DM Freaks managed to shut down all those Barons. His Berserker there wasn't fully charged, so it didn't do that much damage, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't see it personally, and I can see by the health bar, it's not as impressive as we really wanted. Seismic shove onto Life, but he does have that Celestial opposition. He should be all right. As Chains of Corruption connecting. Do we get it charged up? That's a lot of damage as down goes Bulldog. Nowhere to run. As Polu happy to tank up this turret. Hype going to be able to take it down. That is the pick they were looking for, and they're utilizing these couple of Barons for their last 30 seconds. And look at that, the Rebel Baron power play ticking over towards 700, and at least it's positive, you know?
Absolutely managed to pull it back towards the end of it, and now taking down this inhibitor in the mid lane. DM Freaks without their mid lane are going to struggle to find an angle here.
All right. Humbug is not afraid to start fights. The Renekton aggro angles so well. Gets himself out of there, and that is going to spell the bottom outer turret also falling. Sorry, inhibitor turret. Inhibitor also going to follow suit. There's now Seismic Shove, Umberly dashed away from, and now a teleport flank angle from Bulldog. Okay, he's out of the fountain and immediately back into the fray as in goes Humbug, and he finds Berserker in the backline. Gorgeous engage, no Rel this time, and Bulldog turns up to his whole house being on fire. Oh no, it was a Donald Glover angle if ever I've seen one, as now Pioshik has to go back to his fountain to try and lick his wounds, as doggos do tend to do. And oh god, he's straight into an arrow, just skewered himself. Oh dear, that is going to spell the end of these Nexus turrets. The science victory is going to be concluded here as the bros bring us to a Game 3 and a chance to win the series.
I feel like the composition for Brionne is so volatile, you know? You have this mid jungle, which is obviously strong, but also like Pantheon, if he falls behind, pretty underwhelming. Fiora, who, yes, can be a late game menace, but typically in the side lane. Always a pain trying to fight the Yorick with the Maiden up. Yep. The thing is, it's just so powerful because a lot of the times in top lane, when you ult, it's like, okay, like imagine like a Renekton or a Fiora or an Aatrox, you're ulting to get power in a fight immediately. But Dudu just has Maiden up.
Yeah.
And you're not, as a Fiora, you can't go up to it and kill it. That's just not feasible.
No. And we are seeing a lot of that issue here. As Humbug is going to grab the dragon, have to pay attention to. Of course, Fiora, another one of those examples.
Humbug making a mistake there by taking a grub and not letting DNF have 6 grubs. You could have had the 80% win chance.
Now you only have a 23% chance of winning the game.
What has he done? What an error. Did you not see the statistics?
Oh, God. Disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. Maybe the fact that they didn't lose a fight over it as well is going to help them out there, but I'm still really worried. A stat is a stat.
If they'd called a ghoulie wall.
Straight up.
Fine to play it.
And what about Shovel Smash? Like Dark Rights or something?
Wait, it's not called Shovel Smash?
It's not called Shovel Smash! All right, down goes the Dark Procession.
Oh, the
now
cat fight
is in trouble. Yeah, it is indeed a cat fight. There's another Maiden picked up closer. That is cheating! And now Dudu is going to get demolished. And look at it! Oh, it's 2 Maidens on the Rift at the one time. It's too much Maidening. No one's Maidenless today. It's not happening.
Tragic there, Dudu falling prey to his own. Well, the cat from the other side stolen away from him. And now, going to use it to get some pressure on the tower as well.
Oh, using their own Maidening against them.
That cat looks so cool.
Yeah, grab that feat of strength. And Humbug looking to start that one up now. That is going to be the 3rd dragon of the game as well, as Polo moving on in here. And you know that he wants to ult Pyosik away, but Life is taking so much damage, hype landing everything. And now it's Pyosik's turn, as they are stepping up one after the other. There was no, like, how are they supposed to protect them? And they were still trying to jostle for position.
And now 3rd dragon should just go over to Bro. No real way to contest this. Pyosik low and actually closer, looking for a kill.
Yeah, does manage to find the ulti. Pyosik's still able to lock down the Raptor. Does have the smite, of course, as now the Glacial Prison that was stolen away is going to guarantee the chain lash damage, as Gravity Field, is going to stop Closer from fighting anymore. And there are the feats of strength.
That's a well-named ability, Gravity Field.
Yeah, see, that one's a good one.
It's sacrificing your life to get as many Heartsteel stacks as possible.
Yep. I learned about Heartsteel and its value from you in ARAM.
Yeah.
That did happen.
It is just the ultimate dopamine facilitator, you know?
And it makes more sense.
Okay, I don't feel as bad for getting it wrong, because I was kind of also right.
You were right in the past. If I asked that question a few years ago, you would have been okay. Okay, here's a bit of an engage as Polo just gets himself out. Makes his way over towards Morgan, who's a team fighting Fiora. Not sure about that one, but he's got Pyosik out of here. Dudu now in trouble as well, who's also a split pusher, somehow trying to team fight. And we all know that that does not go well unless you're already winning. And Morgan is making use of that.
Well, actually, he got a clutch riposte. It wasn't a stun, but the attack speed slow on a Berserker. And I like to think that, no, that had no impact. they'd already won the fight.
Well, now Bro are going to pick up yet another Infernal Soul.
Yep. Unfortunately, because of the slow pace of the game,
seconds ago,
I've seen one Pure team fight this week, and it was one. So stats don't lie.
Do you know what the biggest loser in this series is? 5-1 grub stats.
Oh, so
absolutely doomed. As Humbug is now in trouble. That is a big shutdown, actually, as they do manage to hook him up. But now, can Berserker survive? As the Killer Instinct comes in here for Closer, he can stick to anyone he wants to. And let's see who he chooses. As no, never mind. They don't manage to get the lockdown. Still, the punishment is going to be there. Life is the one that bites the bullet.
An excuse about, oh, but you can't subscribe and create. Get a VPN, bro. That's what I did.
Exactly, that's what I did.
Dedicated to the cause.
Well, Closer is also looking for an angle. Gets on top of Bulldog here with the depth charge, but maybe it's not enough. Killer Instinct from Berserker gets him to the fight, but Life is just on the floor. Dudu is now team fighting his Yorick once again. Morgan looking for an angle. The Dark Procession. And Hype just Arcane shifts out of it. It's very cute, though.
I love that that was Dudu's contribution to the fight. Just put the cage around an Ezreal.
Yeah. I just love that the cage also, like when it's Yorick, like it takes a few hits to die and it holds him in position, but doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
True Shot Barrage, actually a lot of work here as Dudu down to 50%. The Maiden, it's attacking Polu, and the Void Seeker not going to seek anything. Closer now caught on a flank angle, but the Bros, they're focusing. They're looking for the Baron and they'll take it. Another Dark Procession that does nothing.
But it was a good disengaged Dark Procession. Unfortunately, Baron does go over to Bro.
Yeah, they didn't really want to disengage, did they? Engagement that they needed.
Yeah, perhaps, you know, when we're talking about engages, perhaps there's a reason we haven't seen Yorick support.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly into Ezreal.
Ezreal is going to be split pushing here on the bottom side, and I feel like this entire game has been Bro slowly winning, and they are still slowly winning.
Yeah, I love when we get like a really strong split push champion picked, and then instead it's Silas who's side laning.
I mean, they are 1-3-1ing to be fair.
I mean, in fairness, Morgan's holding off the Yorick, but it's just a bit funny. This is a great angle.
They've caught Polu, or have they? As here's the hijack of the Chaos Storm. In comes Dudu. They're teleporting in, and he's out. He's out again immediately. My God, the AoE. These wallets are so powerful, and of course, Polu survives with about 0 health. The Grand Starfall, and he's in to the Yorick Cage. The Dark Procession to hold him back. But everyone's dead. It is only Dudu that's left alive. And the trail of minions, it's just, this is a clean, nothing to see here. Dominant Game 3 victory here from the Bros.
Team 5 Fiora coming in clutch, the Bro Tax coming in clutch, and Chronicler was not being ironic. That's what we learned here today.
Yes, we did. We also learned that Grand Procession is adorable, but unfortunately it does not help you win games of League of Legends. The Nexus turrets are going to fall, the Nexus to follow suit. Another stolen Maiden will take down the Nexus, and look at that. A huge grin from Edgar. I don't know about Diana top lane. It's been a while. I used to play a lot of Diana mid, but that was when she was released, which is approximately 12 years ago.
It reminds me a bit of like the sort of Carly, back when Gwen was really strong.
Yeah.
Carly was picked into Gwen, likely for similar reasons of how you would play the matchup. So I think at 6 maybe is where you'll look to...
Well, he got solo killed. So he is looking at level 6 right now, as Lehens is going to land the anchor on the wall and gets himself out.
Kingen appreciating some alone time to maybe catch up.
I could imagine that that would be the case. As Fisher is now thinking of shadowing the Gwen, but not going to be able to do too much to him, as Ju taking a bit of damage from Ruler, who greets him underneath that turret.
Well, so bot lane, we kind of, to no surprise, losing matchup.
All right. It did actually win. The last, I knew there was going to be something, and it was Flame that played it, as Dora just gives him the door.
Yeah, unfortunately it is Braum, so...
This is all going not so well for Nongshim. Okay, there's a bullet time. Jiu is almost just straight up dead as he flashes, but Ruler still just hits him with a Q.
Yep, can't flash an auto attack.
Oh dear. I mean, it's basically an auto attack, as there is a nice Winter Spike connecting onto Lehens as well. And now Ruler is looking to line it up, but Lehens thinks he's found the angle, and Ruler will go down, but not before he grabs a double. All over the map. You can see 3 grubs already done. They're looking for the first dragon of the game here as well, as Canyon is just chilling on that one. Gideon hasn't really been seen so far.
Yeah, you know what's kind of doomed when like Keen doesn't have TP, but Nongshim still can't contest what could be a 4v5. Not really gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
fantastic. There was a Southeast Asian player, his name was G4, and he was brilliant at the Diana, I remember, many years ago. As Gideon gonna hop over the wall, but Duro is still gonna just throw some Winter's Bite at him. What is it that Braum shoots out? Team fights, you have more AoE CC. As Gideon has more being dead. As Canyon is going to dive on top of him. Gideon now actually throwing down a fair bit of damage. Yeah, has the doggos, and now Kingen with no ulti, but he's pretty sticky on this Diana. There's a dash forward, and he does have the ult, but I think Canyon still did. Never mind, they get over the wall, and Duro just stands beside him. Oh, what the heck was that?
That looked like they finally got something going. Maybe a kill for Kingen, could have turned this game around, and...
No. And Duro as well being a great cheerleader, as we saw in the last clip, as he's diving forward, protecting his minions. Stand beside Braum exactly oh god, yeah, that double up actually doing a lot of work. Still tanks the turret as Lehens gets the old flash. In comes Jiu. Can Ruler survive? That's the question, as Duro's going down as well. And Gideon just grabs a double out of nowhere.
Oh, Lehens again, this old flash mechanic. He's shown it before. So well played.
Drake as well.
That's how your Coach Kim would not be laughing after that play.
Not anymore. And they've pulled back the gold advantage as well. You can see Gideon now with the lead himself. Lehens grabbing himself a bit of an advantage.
Can still win.
Well, Keen is going to take another turret, and that will just go down. No real response available, as Kingen's jungling. Yeah, and now he's pushing on an inner turret, as the outer and mid lane is going down. Ju really can't really afford to be here, as that turret is not long for the world, and in goes Chovy. Doesn't quite make the distance there with the Conquering Sands, but that is absolutely fine.
There's so much pressure now, especially against like an Azir and an MF, who are both quite strong. Chovy managing to just make a 20 CS lead appear, as he is to do. You know, he just has that ability.
Dark Procession. That's he does have that, and that was very cute. As Fisher is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
As in goes Shelly at the same time. Gideon wanting to try and defend, but I don't think it's going to happen. And Fisher's not going to die, but the inner turret will. And there is only 2 more of them. It was completely caught out. So now Gen.G, are they going to try and do the 4v5? That's the question. They're now looking for an angle as Keen dives in. And Kingin, not sure about that. Did get the ult off, but it didn't really do anything at all as Canyon's turned up. They've got 5 members now as Jiu splits to the other side, tries to Hexgate out, and it was very, very sad. Chovy going to go back to the Otacon, picks that one up, and it was a worthy try, Nongshim. And unfortunately, it did not work in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to speed up the game, that is one way to do it. Unfortunately, not in a favorable direction. You kind of just leashed Otacon, and they're going to pick up this dragon as well.
A bit more of a gander.
Assess the situation. Oh,
yeah. As Keen has found Gideon.
Yep. Oh, TP coming in.
Ooh, Voidseeker is going to land as Jiu's going to turn up. Okay, Gideon goes untargetable, so he's out of this fight. But Fisher, he's the one that needs to try and catch him. And there is a gorgeous charm. Keen is just going to smell the roses for a moment as a golden Gwen, but almost manages to pick up the kill at the same time. Still, Gen.G going to be pushing on that top side. Teleport in from Chovy just to guard this mid-outer turret. And in the meantime, an inhibitor turret's going down.
Yeah, they can't defend this.
Yeah, it's just gone. Perplexing. I would say that the trade does favor Gen.G, but getting a kill helps morale.
With it. Yeah. That is pretty much what that offered. I mean, they... Oh, and this tower's gone as well. Well...
The gold is not an advantage. However, Nongshim...
Yeah, I think that's the lesson here.
There needs to be 8 other kills for Nongshim, though. And so we'll see how we do picking up those as Lahens, he's going to get picked up by Canyon here. And Chovy will be able to deliver the death blow. Never mind, it's actually Canyon that collects that one. Kingin is going to take that as his invitation to go home.
Yes, this is the brush hiding part of the Diana top lane gameplay. Obviously,
thanks for that, Orcs.
That was Zach's spin on top lane Diana. That's something she likes to do often, is stand in the brush. And then recall after not doing anything. It's just... You wouldn't get it if you're not a Diana top lane player.
Well, I'm not, so I don't get it. We are going to get some bounty gold, though. So that's going to pull the gold lead back to 10,000. As Ruler moving back to
the 10 stacks have been hit. This is prime time.
Wait. Is Fisher going to be able to find the angle? That's the question. Never mind. Lahens has already been caught out. Does buy a bit of time with the ulti, but it's not quite enough. That's a brilliant ult coming out from Duro as well as Kingin. He finds an ult under 3. And most of the damage is unable to follow up. Jiu, 1 shot away from being stunned. It's Fisher trying to be helpful, and that Hexgate actually gets him out. Is it going to be a potential angle?
Can't take that Hexgate, execute.
Yep, that is. So he is going to be able to secure the execute. That does mean, though, that it's very... Okay, never mind. Gideon going to be able to pop over the wall. Nice charm just to play some defense. But as it's all happening, Ruler is taking a drag.
Gideon Fisher still haven't died. There is something... I'm going to pre-warn you, Max.
Please.
It's very unfortunate what happens. We're going to see the replay in a second.
Want to take it out. I don't know whether Nongshim are going to have too many opportunities to get in here. You can see he's running monopoly on the vision. Oh, yeah, Kingin has the ultimate back up again. As Chovy is just going to hold the ult. Not going to get baited there as Gideon goes untargetable, but it doesn't really matter. And now they take the Baron and they take the lives of the Nongshim members. That is a...
It does not do damage.
It does not. It did not do very much of anything at all. As Lahen's going to be the next target here. Chovy just following him. Jiu trying to do some tricky stuff to try and get out with the Killer Instinct, but unfortunately it doesn't quite work as Duro trying to stay alive. It's going to be Fisher grabbing another kill as Chovy and Fisher now fighting. Chovy not with the mobility that Fisher has, and Ruler is done with this game and wants to just kind of end it. As Chovy is just going to send the Sand Soldiers forward, takes down the Ahri, and Lahens gives him a good old thumbs up and stops the back. And will also help Chovy get some more kills this game, and there it is.
Yeah, Chovy takes out his former teammate in Cold Blood. And I feel like Cold Blood is kind of accurate for how Nongshim are feeling right now. This game is very over, and it has been for a while.
It was. The Nexus goes down. See whether King can do the same thing, as he is going to lock that one away.
Yeah, it's just... To me, it's interesting that they opted to save the Scion pick to last. I will say this is a very bulky composition from Gen.G.
Really the cup half full. Even making excuses for the theoretical things that could happen as Lahens finds another knock-up onto Ruler. Canyon is here, gets the flash and just pulls Jiu out. Remember, he doesn't have any sums. That is going to be the headbutt back, and that is going to be first blood over to Ruler. I think he was pretty happy about that. Duro's back, and he's getting more work done. Okay.
Fisher.
Fisher?
Fisher, I said nice things about you. Don't make me a liar. What? What was that?
That was so weird. They come on over, so probably going to be a trade of a few of these. Gideon will at least be able to get one. Oh, down. Oh, 1 health. Okay. That was terrifying.
Yeah, just a little bit. Cool, calm, and collected.
All right, Gideon making his way over. The train has left the station, but it was looking for Jiu, so we might need to check in on that one once again. Fisher doing a lot of damage here as Arcane Shift gets Ruler out of the circle. Gideon's still back in, though, and should be able to grab a bunch of these grubs. Canyon making his way over, wants to try and kill the Hens, which seems to be the Gen.G game plan.
Like maybe Duro was around, but he is walking up from bot lane. Fisher is low already.
And Lehens has now walked up to Chovy, but Fisher is not interested in trying to kill the enemy mid lane. Okay, never mind. There's a knockup from Lehens. Chovy gets ulted here, but the Chaos Storm does come down, and Fisher is out of there. Another headbutt back. Is Gideon going to get knocked up and taken down relatively low. That was actually a cute use of his stop function. We have seen 5 grubs not necessarily work as well as it could, as Lehens is down very, very low, but he's just trying to keep them away. 4 grubs will be locked up, as now Canyon making his way in, does manage to lock one down, but Lehens is still just playing with him. He's got a blast cone he can mess around with as well, and that is actually going to be effective.
Chovy's given up.
Yeah, this is so weird. I don't know which fight to commentate, as Duro's going to get hit by a shock blast. There goes that last grub, as 5 do go over to Nongshim. Lehens is in the enemy base now. He's like, wasn't I on this team? This is the team I was on before, right? As there it is, Soul Furnace, and that is a kill going over to Keen.
Yeah, well, he stole for time. He allowed his team to escape. I love how he's built armor into, and he's playing now into Aurora, just winning.
Yeah, seems to be
I
fine.
don't think they killed him.
I don't think so either, but Lehens is here. Duro is also here, though, and Lehens is taking a whole host of damage. Phenomenal Impale is going to come through. One of them is a clone, though, as Lehens, there it is. Somehow it's Canyon that picks up the kill, actually. I thought that was an auto attack following from Ruler. Ruler probably thinking that as well, and he's probably exclaiming about it.
The bleed that he has. Yeah. Find windows to catch isolated members, pick apart Gen.G. I think in structured 5v5s, it's going to be so hard from here on out. And if you can find someone isolated, different story.
And the difficulty is that the self-peel from Ruler is massive. The fact that Chovy has Rod of Ages, so...
You not far away from it, though. You know, foot in the grave, perhaps, is how you describe it, as Ruler keeps putting that pressure down.
Yeah, all right, Duro going to get knocked up. He is level 6.
He is also an Alistair.
Yeah. All right, Canyon now just going to say, Gideon, please, I would prefer it if you didn't take my Rift Herald. Gideon is going to hear that loud and clear.
Canyon's really going for these Heartsteel stacks. He wants them. I respect that approach.
Absolutely. I didn't even think that was why he was just walking towards the enemy team, as another headbutt comes forward. Charm does come through, though, from Lehens, but he's just going to explode before he can really use it. That is going to be a steal, but the eye, I don't think, is going to get picked up. Gideon, never mind. He does get over there, takes that one down, flashes over the wall, stays alive, and they've got a blast cone to take the 2 of them out of there. That means the Fisher is by himself, though, as King in, wanting to kill Ruler, and Ruler says no. And there's 2 damage dealers up there towards the top side. Oh, wow. Okay, well, let's see what...
Line it up, you can do it.
Yeah, Canyon, he's through the wall, and yeah, unfortunately, if Canyon's already in the wall, if you go into the wall, you will get stopped by Canyon, who is in the wall. And there he goes. Scorpion grabs that kill.
God, I can't.
She didn't do.
Wow. I think Ruler is having a good time here, ladies and gentlemen.
Ezreal.
Yeah, that's very true. He's just generally having a good time. As Duro underneath the turret is going to knock up 2 people and a clone. As the turret does actually go down.
Yeah. I don't have a lawn, so I don't personally have one, but I guess any standard homeowner has an anti-gravity lawnmower.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is now. I've been living in apartments for too long, but I imagine that's where the technology's at. As Teleport is going to get Keen in there, and of course, he's happy to teleport in amongst everyone. That is going to be now Feats of Strength picked up as Kingin going to boot Canyon out of the wall. That's nicely played, and Gen.G taking a lot of damage here. Jude, they are able to get behind him. Ruler down to 50%. Is this going to be the moment here? As there's the flash forward, but Jiu's able to dash his way out, and now the grand entrance comes in. It's 1 kill for the Zeri. Keen turned into a zombie as Chovy now there with a whole bunch of damage. Ruler as well, not a lot of mana, but is certainly able to still contribute. As Duro able to limp his way out. Jiu running the wrong direction, but Nongshim, it was so close to winning a fight, and I honestly think they kind of did. As True Shot Barrage going to pick up the kill on a Fisher, never mind.
Never mind. So close, so close. They had the edge, you know, and they find access on a Chovy.
Well, speaking of access onto Chovy, Kingin is just going to kill him.
That's a big shutdown.
Be an even fight.
Yeah.
If Fisher isn't here. As Duro goes in, that is a lot of damage onto Lehens, as Ruler is still piling on even more of it.
So low. No. This is bad. This is bad.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see. Ruler does take a shock blast, but there's the train. Jiu's going to skate out of the way. But now the rest of Nongshim, they have to leave.
Guys, Trophy's up. He's got TP. Just leave. Just leave. Let it reset.
God, yeah, the teleport in.
It.
All right, Gideon, he desperately wants to be here so that he can go for this. As now the Chaos Storm comes in, the Death Ray's there as well, but Jiu's able to get over the wall. Lehens is dead, and the Archon was picked up by Gen.G thanks to the leash, and oh god. Fisher not able to get over that wall, but still able to use the ulti to create the amount of space that he required. So Nongshim lose the fight, but not as badly as they could have otherwise lost the fight if more bad things happened.
I was going to say, that could have gone far worse, but it didn't go good.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Nongshim overestimating their ability to kill Archon. You know, we've had Archon around for a pretty long time now. Oh.
Yeah, that's a teleport in. They're going to see whether they can get Ruler out of here, and he does get quickness and may actually go down. However, Canyon over here, he's able to destroy the Wukong, and they're just immortal. Yes, they did get one withdrawal, but Canyon is just going to live, and then Keen cuts down the Aurora, or would if he was the Lumberjack skin, but has a hammer with this particular skin, and therefore he bonks. Yeah. As Canyon is going to come down and help Chovy out here as Ruler over the wall, and this is a turret that is no longer on the map. 3.5k, now the lead in that mid lane that we were tracking before.
Controversial.
I do think that you are somewhat controversial, however, I'm ready to agree with you here, as Jiu is also under a lot of danger, as he has to flash. True Shot Barrage was too close. And now, this is Hextech Soul Point. Gen.G looking to try and pick that one up, as there is no chance for Nongshim to get in. So Hextech Soul for Gen.G, and it really feels like a death nail. You give Ezreal Hextech Soul, and it doesn't matter what his teammates are, it's already completely overpowered.
Fair. How are they ever killing
Canyon? No, they even just steal away the blue buff.
Oh, he gets a smite as well.
Canyon's going to be able to secure it.
It's post-Baron. Everyone gets the blue.
They did almost manage to kill his
Look at
shield, and yeah, he's just going to pull the hands over. Special delivery of the Rakan as Jiu. He ults and dies. And Ruler picks up a double, 406 now for this Ezreal, 8,000 gold the lead. And it really just feels like Gen.G are on a whole different level.
It's just crazy that these two teams matched up in the LCK Cup and it went to 5 games. And then these 2 games today, it just hasn't even... leagues apart. It really feels like so much had to change for it to even be close.
And I think that that has a lot to do with Gen.G finally figuring out how this new roster is going to play together. I think Duro's improvement has been astounding as well. But I think that Nongshim are also having a little bit of an off day. There is going to be a bounty picked up. I don't know whether it's going to mean anything at all, as Keen is a brick wall. True Shot Barrage does so much damage, but it also slows them all down as Duro comes in looking for that Pulverize. Keen actually taking a bit here, but the knock-up's going to be too good. Out goes Gideon, and Fisher is now just amongst the beefcakes.
You know, I thought he might die, and then his unending despair procced, and he didn't.
Yeah, and Kingen, we thought he might die, and he did.
Yeah. Keen is just, at this point, basically immortal.
And
Ruler's hunting for Lehens.
Yep, and Lehens is going to die, because he just doesn't have anywhere to go. The headbutt going to help out there, but I think the Mystic Shot was already going to kill. And Jiu, is he even safe on his fountain, is the question, as he's not. That's a Mystic Shot from Ruler one more time. 7-0-7 for this guy's Ezreal. Ruler having a really good day today. Gen.G just looking a cut above the opposition as they slaughter Nongshim.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.